Does the sound quality bother y'all? Should we switch back to the microphones? Let us know in the comments.
You know, I'm a strong believer in consistency.
Pressure is a privilege, bro. Whenever you feel that weight on your shoulders as a young king, remember that, bro.
Things do not come quick. Consistency is a long game. Expect it to come with time.
What's the secret to getting rich? Is there one thing? You know what I mean? It's never just one thing. It's all the little things, bro. It's not one silver bullet. It's a million golden BBs.
And a check. What's up? It's your boy Cross-Eyed here with Vice City Mafia. I got my main man on the trigger. Major, minor in the building.
B-C-M.
What's poppin'?
What's good, bro?
Chilling, dude.
Talk to me, man. What you going through, bro?
Yo, you know, like, I've been thinking, right? Like, you know, when we started this podcast, like, I was like, how long we been doing it? Probably like, what, like 7 months now?
7, 8 months?
8 months. Yo, I don't know, like, I was, like, you know, you have this impression, like, I thought I would have already blown up by now. You know, not blown up in the sense of, like, Andrew Tate, but, like, blown up in the sense of I could have did this and quit my job already. You know what I mean?
You know what, man? It's, so there's these studies out based on productivity and goal setting, right? And the thing with productivity and goal setting is that people always underestimate the timeline it takes, and they said it takes about 1.6 times longer for you to attain your goal than you initially think. And that's not because we're bad at like, you know, imagining time. It's just because we underestimate the necessary steps it takes to become successful at something that we have not began, right? So it's like, we can and will get there. But that's why, as we've talked about previously, the metric has to be, am I progressing? Am I getting better? And I think that, you know, for us specifically, we have hit a roadblock in terms of progression, right? Because we are still getting it done and getting it consistent, but it's finding out what the next steps are.
Yeah, because, I would agree to that, because it's at the point where we, like, if you go back to the first podcast, like, we have gotten better, you know? We have learned to articulate our words much more nicer. Mm-hmm. We have learned how to grab certain topics and talk about it. We do know what key factors get people to comment, you know? And our editing has gotten much better. And the workflow is almost like if we shoot this pod and it's effortless now, because we're so quick with it.
But our sound, because we've started using these.
Yeah, our sound quality has suffered.
So does the sound quality bother y'all? Should we switch back to the microphones? Let us know in the comments. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let us know.
Is that a thing?
Like, is the microphone? Yo, you know what I was thinking about? Like, is the microphone the next turning point? Because we stepped away from the microphone and we bought these nice mics that look.
These are great.
Yeah, you know, and they look
from
good.
From an aesthetic perspective.
Yeah, aesthetically they're amazing, and sound quality they're pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they're not the
they're not the Rhodes.
Right up here,
yeah, they're not the Joe Rogan mics.
Yeah,
you know, but like they are good. Like, is it that we need to get back to that and add that extra step back in? You know, because maybe we were just so focused on working so efficiently that we handicapped ourselves slightly. Sometimes I think that, sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, but I think all of this is part of the process, right? Because the other thing to remember is that success is never a straight line up, right? So, like, I love this quote from Nipsey Hussle, whenever times get tough, right? Because he's like, I felt every type of emotion in this game, man. He's like, I felt like quitting. I felt the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, you know what I mean? But that's why he came up with the marathon. The idea is to keep pushing. So it's like, our metric of success can't be on a timeline of 7 months. It must be on a timeline of where are we going to be at in 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing, bro.
Yeah, I always agreed, you know, like, well, right now, you know, I'm a strong believer in consistency. Like, I will throw everything out for consistency, you know, and it's because it's the only aspect I haven't touched trying to chase like this dream, you know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying. It's That's the problem with your generation, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that, no, and let me tell you, right? It's that you were born in an era of instant gratification. And let me break that down for you, right? It's like,
my generation, we're talking about Gen Z, by the way.
Yeah, I'm a millennial, right?
Yeah.
So the millennials, we were born without the internet.
Yeah.
Right? So I remember what it was to have to go to the library, bro. You know what I mean? I remember what it was when my friends and I would be BSing about some things, right? And it was just whoever talked the loudest was right. You know what I mean? There was no Google to look it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we had to find out 3 years later, right? Bro, I told you, like we used to think, because my homie saw a porn magazine where it said, this girl swallows cum, right? So we thought like cum was a hard thing that you ate, you know what I mean? Because it said like, oh, watch this girl swallow this dude's jizz, you know what I mean? And it wasn't a video, it was just like a Playboy article, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so we were like, ha ha ha, you're eating cum, you know what I mean? And, you know what I mean? And then obviously when we started getting sexually active and shit, we found the difference out, right? And when your little pee-pee makes a, and you're like, hey, you know what I mean? So like, bro, I remember even I'd press my dick up against pillows, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To get the feeling, because the porn, like even by the time, I hope we're 5 minutes in and shit. Even by the time porn came out, you had to download it, bro. You know what I mean? So like, I was, and then when the internet came, I do know the difference, right? So I think that helps with timeline building. And I think we also see it too often on Instagram, or care about what even though we say like, oh, I don't give a fuck about what other people.
Everyone cares what people think, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, sometimes I get comments and I don't care for the comments, but in the sense of I don't care is like, it's not gonna affect me, but I'll read them and then I'll start maneuvering different. Like if someone says like, hey, but I use them as a positive. So if someone says like, hey, marshmallow body ass, so then I'll be like, I'm not a marshmallow body, but okay, obviously I need to hit the gym a little more, you know? I'm not more of like...
I love that you use that as a motivator.
Yeah.
But I just straight up don't read the comments, bro. I just do not bother myself with them at all, because I know if I'm looking chunky or marshmallowy, bro, you know what I mean? I ain't though, you know what I mean? But, you know, I feel it though, if I am, you feel me? Yeah. And I think that if you have the ability to be honest with yourself, that is always the greatest motivator, because even when I'm training clients, right? Like everybody knows what it is to lose weight, move more, eat less, right? People know what it takes to build muscle.
Yeah.
Get your ass to the gym, right?
We all know what to do. You know, like, yeah, I definitely agree with you.
I get paid for having a strong mind, bro, and helping people instill that in themselves. So anything fitness related is always deeper than just the body, bro. It is the internal discipline to handle what is in front of you day in and day out, even on the days when you feel like you are not seeing any results, even on the days where you feel like everything you're doing is not worthwhile, even on the days when she yells at you, your parents are mad, your girl's tripping, your dog shits on the floor, you know what I mean? All of that. It's like, are you staying to the task, or are you going to give up and be like everybody else?
Yeah, that's the turning point. That's the turning point I think we are at right now. God damn it, it's muggy outside. But that's the turning point we are at now.
Those clouds look crazy. Maybe it was just the day that came across.
Yeah, I think right now this podcast, we are at that turning point where it's like, you know, because you have these days where you're getting 10,000 views, and then you have these days where you're getting 1,000 views.
Well, let's be honest, bro.
You know what I mean?
Let's be honest. Our topics weren't hitting the other weeks.
Niggas
were a little lackluster. We weren't doing the things that got us to the position in which we are today, right? And even though our subscriber count is still steadily climbing, we are focused on continuously improving. So I understand, like, I was talking to a friend today, she has a hair salon, right? And she's like, I'm nervous, because she's stepping out on her own. She's going out from the tutelage of her boss, right? And she's like, I'm nervous. And I was like, that's perfect. She's like, what do you mean? She's like, I'm nerve-wracked. I don't know if I can do it. I was like, that means you care. And those are the reasons why you're going to succeed. Because it's somebody that doesn't care, that doesn't trip on that is destined to stay in the same place, right? So pressure is a privilege, bro.
Pressure is a privilege. I like that.
I mean?
That's what I'm going to title this podcast.
Boom.
Pressure is a privilege.
That's facts, bro.
That's
you know what I
nice.
mean? Hey, shout out my boy Devin, bro, and he's one of my clients, right? Also my homie, right? But I was putting that pressure on him, you know what I mean? And we were going through it, and I was like, bro, I'm putting pressure on you because I believe in you. And he's like, pressure is a privilege. I was like, that is lit. We are running with that.
Yeah, pressure
we are
is a
running
privilege.
with that, bro.
Pressure is a privilege.
You know what I mean? So it's just
It's
like
hard, yeah.
whenever you feel that weight on your shoulders as a young king, remember that, bro. Because heavy is the head that wears it, right?
Yeah, you know, I could always tell when someone's gonna be successful because, well, one, going back to the state of the podcast and what I thought it was already gonna be at,
Right.
you know, I think I have that problem because like since I became 18, I won a bunch of money gambling.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yo, I'm not gonna work no more. My old boy gave me a job in a strip club.
Right.
A year later, I became manager.
Right.
Then I became GM. And then money was so quick, like, bam, 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 here. Hey, yo, kid, here. Like, things came to me so quick out of luck and the blessings from God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when I do things like content creation or when I was making music, I expected it to be that quick also. You get
Right.
what I'm saying? So
Right.
maybe it's like life things that happen to me, but like this is teaching me to understand that things do not come quick. Consistency is a long game, you know, like you don't invest in crypto and expect to be a millionaire tomorrow. Or you don't invest and expect to be a millionaire tomorrow, you expect it to come with time, you know?
And even people are like, so like, what's the secret to like getting big, right? Or like, what's the secret to fat loss, right? And I'll be like, bro, what's the secret to getting rich? Is there one thing? You know what I mean? It's never just one thing. It's all the little things, bro. It's not one silver bullet. It's a million golden BBs, bro. You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to stay doing the boring shit all day, just you know what I mean? I wish there was a bazooka that could get you to success, right? But it's us sitting down every day and just continuing to get better. But check this out, bro. What you fail to recognize is that we are in the top 99% of podcasts solely because we've gotten past 16 episodes.
We're almost at 50 already.
That's what I'm saying, bro. So I'm saying like the consistency is one metric in of itself. So it's just like it's easy to get bogged down when you see like that like the undulating growth where it goes up and then down and then up and then down, right? But it's like, how are we looking at the end of 5 years? What are our total numbers, right?
Yeah. I'd like to think of it like
But the last 2 episodes, you know what I mean? They weren't this. They weren't us being real.
Yeah. Yo, and another thing I get stuck on personally, and some other people may get stuck on this, and just so you guys know, sometimes you gotta take a step back, right? And you gotta have some real people around you, which I'm fortunate enough to have.
Gang.
You know what I mean? Gang. But like, you gotta have some real people here because like sometimes you remember when I was making a bunch of content, like you were at the crib, we did the one podcast, and then I was like content. But I was falling off the niche. Like, and my wife told me, you had told me, you're like, hey man, you're making content, but you know, it's kind of random.
Yeah.
You know? And you know, and then like I had some people tell me like, hey, but why are you putting this on the podcast if it's supposed to be a podcast? Why are you uploading that? And I'm like, yo, you know what? I needed to step back, look, and be like, yeah, I'm too worried about how much I'm putting out and not what I'm putting out.
Well,
you know what I mean? That's another aspect I have.
That's what I'm saying. So like, it's how we measure the wins, because a lot of times we feel that being busy is being productive, right? But that's why goal setting specifically with things that you can measure.
Yeah, a dream without goals is a dead dream.
But we have to be able to measure the success, right? So it's like, if we have, okay, so like I like to think of my attention span as marbles, right? And if it's like, power is how quickly you can bring something from your mind into reality, right? And so I've understood that it takes marbles, like this is just the idea that I like, because you know, you hear about your brain like, oh, he lost his marbles, right?
Yeah.
So this helps me, right? So it's like, let's say you have 15 marbles, right? And they're all rolling down, right? and you can push these dominoes of life with these marbles, right? But each time you divert attention to the wrong thing, it takes a marble out, and it takes a marble out. And sometimes you don't have enough to push the dominoes down, right? Of life. So it's just like, we must recalibrate what our like success metrics are in order to get there, right? Because like I said, we already hit the consistent one, right? So it's like, now we need a different one. Like we need like, okay, we had the 500 subscribers, got that, right? And that's what we were going for. So as long as that subscriber count was going up, so we know how to make the subscriber count go up, right? Now it's per episode views and shorts views. Those are our goals. So all of our research must go into that, right? And so, you know, I'll admit it, bro. I've been not pulling my weight in that. I've just been here as entertainment, and I need to be helping more on the back end, bro. You know what I mean? If I'm being completely honest, because I do have that ability, and you know, it's been a blessing too. I've been busy over at the club that I'm at, right, in my fitness endeavors, and I meant to tell you this. I've been working Monday through Saturday, right? I've brought that in to Monday through Friday, right? So I'm gonna have more time, right? Yeah. Those Monday through Fridays are a little, but I'm not dropping any money, and I'm just condensing the time that I am there so that I have time for my other endeavors. It's those marbles, bro, because it's crazy, because even the 6th day I was working, even though it was just 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., I had to wake up at 6 in order to get to Brickell, right? And leave my house at 7, get to Brickell by 8, right? And then it takes me another hour to get home, right? So it's like, I'm there from 8 to 12, but really it's 6 to 12. And then by the time I get home, after working those other 5 days, working like 12 to 14 hours a day, bro, it's hard for me to give energy towards my son and then do little shit I need to do.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part about chasing a dream. I honestly, like, I see no difficulty in the work. I see no difficulty in staying consistent. I see no difficulty in the discipline as much as I see difficulty in trying to balance the time for family and the career choice, like the dreams. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And the work that you have to do on the way to the dream.
Yeah,
right?
you have to work, because you can't, like, a lot of people want to say like, oh, quit your job, chase your dream. And bro, that's not realistic. You know what I'm saying? So you have to work at your regular job, 9 to 5 or whatever you guys are doing. You know what I'm saying? You have to make your money. You have to support your dream, and you also have to be there for your family at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Given some people drop their family and be like, but you know, that's a difficult thing to do, especially in some aspects.
I mean, I've thought about it.
You know what I mean? Yeah, sometimes you think about it.
I'm just like, damn.
It'll make it a little easier.
I was like, let me come back for him, because the quote. I mean, I would never drop my son, but everybody else, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, what I do think about is Future did have this quote, right? And now, granted, Future's probably not someone you should be listening to for relationship advice. It sounds good, but if you want a peaceful life, right? Yeah. But the thing is, stay toxic, kings.
Stay toxic.
But if he was about to get married to Sierra, right? And he was like, but honestly, I hadn't achieved the shit that I wanted to achieve. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't the man that I was supposed to be yet. And as soon as he dropped Sierra, that nigga's career went shoo!
Yeah, dude.
Because it's the marbles though, bro. Yeah. Because it's the little shit. It's like when you get home and you're tired and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna crank out another 2 hours of work towards my dream. And you step in the door and it's just like, the laundry's on the floor. You're like, oh, fuck this bitch.
Yeah.
Marbles, gone.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
And also, like, bro, there's a movie, what's it called? Whiplash, right? And the guy, bro, amazing movie, Whiplash. I recommend it for a lot of people. You know, it's not super actiony or anything, but it's about this drummer, right? He drums until his hands start bleeding. Yeah, he'll drum until his hands start bleeding. And bro, he drops his girl, and he looks at his girl dead in the face and goes, I gotta break up with you because I'm not gonna have enough time. You're gonna be mad. Yeah. Then we're gonna break up anyway, so I'm just breaking up with you now. Basically, gist of what he said. You know what I mean? And then he still didn't make it. He tried to get back with the girl, but then he went and started chasing his dream again because he saw he had an opportunity, and then he just go for it. Da, da,
Yeah.
da, da. Hands bleeding, bro. It's an emotional movie, especially if you're someone that's actually dream chasing.
Yeah.
You know what
I mean, something's going to get sacrificed, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's either your mental or theirs, you know?
Yeah.
And I, you know, I've tried to walk all type of ropes, but I've just become very cutthroat in my time, and just being able to say like no is so powerful, bro.
Yeah.
Just like
Sometimes.
because for instance, like I went out, I worked yesterday, and then there was a business opportunity for something that I can't talk completely about yet, but we part of it was we went and sat like front line at a baseball game, right? And generally, right, you enjoy a beer, have a drink, you know what I mean? Maybe take an edible, right, to enjoy the game. It's a person that I
Little bit of acid, little bit of shit for the nose. I just
it's a little, sometimes.
I love with Theo Vaughn because you're fucking.
It's sometimes, bro, you know what I mean? But like I chose not to partake in any of that. Just ate, you know what I mean? Had the conversation I needed to, was tired as fuck, but was able to drive home, was able to meet the people I needed to meet and be out, right? And I came back and Kay was like, oh, you didn't drink at all? I was like, not a fucking drop, bro.
Yeah.
And she's like, how'd you talk to the person? I was like, I talked to him. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? She's like, but it's a new person. And I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. Like, something's gonna get sacrificed along the way, bro. And there's no biological free lunch, right? You can't do something without it coming out on the other end.
Yeah.
So it's just like, bro, you have to pick and choose your poisons. And I'm choosing my poison to be, okay, some people are not gonna like me. All right. You know what I mean? I might not be life of the party 24/7, but I'm gonna be focused.
Yeah, being the life of the party isn't the way to success. Like I used to be like a big drinker. I toned that down a lot. You know what I'm saying? I don't do drugs personally.
Yeah.
You know, and I honestly like
I don't do
it
drugs.
better.
Drugs do me.
Yeah. How high are you? I'm not even touching the ground, dude. But like, yeah, I think drugs honestly handicap you when you're chasing a dream. And some people like to say like, no, bro, I take the weed because it stresses me out. Like, bro, how much of a bitch are you, dude? That you have to smoke weed because you can't take a little bit of stress? You're a man and you're stressed out like that. Your whole life is supposed to be stress as a man, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and pressure is a privilege.
And you need a woman, bro, like, I'm blessed. You know, you need a woman that understands when it's like you, by family, I mean your woman, your kids, you know, your immediate family, you know, and your family needs to understand like, yo, I'm chasing this dream. I ain't gonna have time right now.
Yeah.
You know, and luckily some of my family members understand it, some of them don't, but you know, I'm able to go for this dream. And when my girl's like, oh, let's go out, I'm like, not right now.
Right.
I got a vacation planned for us, but right now it's on go.
Yeah.
It's on go. And after the vacation, doubling down on go.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how it has to be because you have to have those seasons. You taught me that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You taught me that.
You gotta have the seasons, bro.
Gotta pay homage.
You know what I mean? I appreciate that. You know, all right, I want to switch topics a little bit.
All right, hit me.
All right. Damn, I forgot this.
Nah, that's all right.
Oh, bro. Apple came out with a list of top music all time. Frank Ocean's on this list.
Frank Ocean?
Frank Ocean is on this list, right?
Frank Ocean's that gay guy, right?
Frank Ocean is gay.
Okay, yeah, man.
I have a homie that is like really into these lists. He's like kind of like a music nerd. He works at a hedge fund, but like he's a Jewish dude, but he likes like hip hop, the hip hop culture.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, who's this Frank Ocean guy? Like, how is he on the top of this list, right? And I was like, you know, his music's very.
He made a lot of bangers.
He made a lot of bangers.
A lot of kids were made to his music too.
His music is maybe booty kids. But you know, I was explaining to him Frank's genius, right? And because I don't know if you know, but Frank finessed his label out of $20 million.
How did he do that?
Okay, so Frank Ocean was locked into this deal with Def Jam, right? So he made first this album called Nostalgia Ultra, right? And it had all these Eagles samples and like classic rock samples, right? That his label didn't even care to try to get cleared, right? But that got him in front of Beyonce. He was already a beast songwriter, writing for all these artists. But this album, since they wouldn't release it, he put it out for free, and it blew him up, right? And people were like, what the heck, right? And so then he made his first studio album with Def Jam, Channel Orange, right? And it went insane, right? And so Frank thought he was then out of his deal. But what he didn't understand was that that first album, because the samples weren't cleared and it wasn't officially released, it did not count to his 2-album count to the record label. So he was like, oh, okay. Like, well, damn, I blew myself up. So what he did was he signed an exclusive deal with Apple Music, right? And they paid him $20 million to do whatever he wanted for his last album, right? And so Def Jam was like, cool, whatever. We get all the rights to this new album, so we're just gonna make so much money. You know what I mean? Frank can't get that 20 mil. We're gonna make money off him forever. What he did, which was so genius, was he made this, because he was always an experimental artist, right? His shit always sounded different.
Yeah.
He made this visual album, and it was called, I think it was called Waiting. It's called Endless. It's called Endless, right? And it's funny because it was like 5-day visual album of him just building a staircase, right? With this music, and everybody thinks the music's gonna come. So it's like endlessly waiting for this album to come out, right? Boom. He finishes the album, right? It only sells like 150,000 copies. And then the day after, he releases his first independent album, which is Blonde, right? And then that shit took off. But he was already out of his label deal. The label didn't make any money off of that bullshit ass visual album. And then he got to use that as promotion for his new album that he dropped on his own, right?
That's fucking genius.
It's genius, bro. And so I went back and listened to his discography in order with that in mind. And bro, he's one of a kind, bro. You know what I mean? He's one of a kind. And like, you know, it's hard because like in the hip hop industry, like now there's Lil Nas X and all these people, right? But like how it was brave what he did, because he was in Odd Future, right? Which is a group of all like rowdy black kids. And he was hiding this secret, bro. And so you hear, because he's talking about women in his music, bro. You know what I mean? Like in Nostalgia Ultra, that was the baby making music, because he's talking about like this girl and like she working here and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, right?
Yeah.
And him just like weaving through and navigating this landscape, and then his music starts talking about stories, because he can't talk about himself, right? So his music is starting to tell these stories about love, right? And sometimes he's talking from what you think is a woman perspective, right? But it's him, right? And then of course he came out and all that stuff, you know what I mean? So you know, my homie was like, not for me. Yeah, like the music's not for him, you know what I mean?
Nah, and I could respect, like a lot of people gave like I respect Frank Ocean's music,
right.
You know. And
I don't respect Lil Nas X's music, though. I think he's a troll more than anything.
I don't respect Lil Nas X's music, but when he first came out, I was like, yo, he's fire.
Oh, Old Town Road, even I Got What You Waiting For, it is a banger.
And then A Panini. You know what I mean? Like, I like it. It's like catchy, it's fun, and it's dumbed down. You know what I mean? But I didn't like when he started trolling so much, because he was trying to do what kind of like Kanye does. He try to get shock value.
Yeah.
You know, and his shock value was just like he was going too far.
Made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it made me uncomfortable, and I didn't really like it, because he was for the kids.
But that's
in the first place.
That's what I think.
But in the beginning, I felt like he was doing a good job.
I think anybody that uses their minority status, whatever that may be, as a parody, right, is doing wrong. So it's just like anybody that uses like the hood thing, right, to like just be ignorant all the time, right? Like I like some of those drill rappers, but like the ones that just like really are continuously messing up their lives and encouraging others to do the same, I can't get behind, bro.
Yeah,
and the same thing I was gonna say with, like, I respect Frank for being strong and coming out and all that, but like Lil Nas X is just being this caricature of a gay dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To where it's just like, bro, like I
honestly think it devalues people.
Yeah, for sure.
To put yourself in this predicament, like all right, even for blacks or Hispanics or Mexicans, like when a Mexican rapper comes out, like his main thing shouldn't be I'm Mexican.
Or,
you know what I'm saying?
Or if it is, highlight the strong parts of your culture.
Yeah,
right?
you know what I'm saying?
Highlight it in a light that allows people to see the beauty of your culture, right?
Yeah.
Don't be like wearing a sombrero and like da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like fucking, like, you know what I mean? Like just like I don't want a rapper to be like I'm Nick. You know what I mean? Like really show people what that experience is like, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is the art that Frank hit it with, right? Because it's like whether like his music, even listening to it, doesn't make, as a straight man, doesn't make me feel uncomfortable to listen to, right? Whereas like a Lil Nas X, I'm like, bro, I can't get behind this, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's too far, dude. You're taking away from the music and putting it more onto your minority status.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm
you're
saying?
relying on that for the
you're
success.
relying on that for the success. And
Right.
I think that's the opposite way to do it.
This is
you
all.
know what I mean? And with that,
All right, we out.
we out.
Let's hit it with a
B,
C, M.
Yo, I love that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know how you came up with it.
Time though. Time.